Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Marlboro County School Board of Education regular scheduled meeting, September 11, 2023. And at this time, I'm going to ask for invocation. Mr. Flowers.
Yes. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you once again for this day. We thank you for all the blessings in life. We ask you to just guide us and direct us in all that we do in our school business. We also ask you to just bless all our first responders as we honor them today on September 11th. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Our plan for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I would like for us all to take a moment of silence for all of our fallen Americans from 9/11 tragedy. So at this time, let's have a moment of silence for the families from 9/11 and their survivors. Thank you. You get a motion to call the meeting to order. Go ahead. Have a motion, have a second.
Yes.
A motion second. All in favor, let me know by raising your right hand. Meeting is now called to order. Notification of the news media is here. They have been notified. I don't see any at this time. Approval of the agenda. We have a news meeting, I'm sorry. Marlboro Harold. This is you please tell me your name, I'm sorry. Townsend? Ms. Hodges is our new reporter with the Marlboro Herald. Welcome aboard the Marlboro Herald and welcome to the Marlboro County School Board meeting. Thank you for being here.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir, Mr.
before we approve the agenda, I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda to add in our business section,
Okay.
I'd like to add the $1,000 donation to Clio School and with the partnership of Care First.
Okay. And Mr. Tom, want to add to the agenda, first item of business action, $1,000 partnership and donation to the Clio Elementary School for the food kitchen with the partner with Care First.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Any? All in favor, let me know by raising your right hand. It's unanimous. Okay.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the amended agenda.
Have a motion to approve the amended agenda.
And I second.
Have a second. Any discussion? Any? All in favor, let me know by raising your right hand. The agenda has been amended and accepted. Points of celebration. Character education, student of the month. Ms. Ready?
Good evening, Chairman, Coachman, board members, and Dr. Tiller. The character trait for the month of August was acceptance. It is my sincere privilege to present Miss Ariana McDonald as the Bennettsville Primary School and Marlboro County School District's Elementary Student of the Month. Her parents talked to me today and said they're coming. They must be running just a little bit late. Hopefully they'll get here. Ariana exhibits acceptance throughout the school day when she interacts with her peers and the staff members at BPS. Acceptance is defined in human psychology as a person's assent to the reality of a situation, recognizing a process or a condition that is a fait accompli without attempting to change it or to protest it. It is the action or the process of being received as adequate and suitable, typically to be admitted into a group. Acceptance is also defined as a deep admiration for someone or something elicited by their abilities, their qualities, and their achievements. Ariana practices both definitions consistently and sets an excellent example for the students in her classroom and throughout the Bennettsville Primary School. Ariana gets along with her peers, and she is very reliable. Her third grade teacher, Ms. White, states she can always count on Ariana to give advice and encouragement to others, always with kindness. She accepts others' differences and encourages people to just be themselves. Ariana admires the knowledge her classmates possess, and she willingly accepts the advice that they offer to her. She listens when others share their thoughts, and she is grateful for the assistance that they give her and to everyone in the classroom. Her excellent demonstration of acceptance makes us have a better classroom community. May her example of acceptance continue to shine brightly this year and throughout her life. So it is with my great appreciation and admiration that I offer congratulations to Miss Ariana McDonald for earning the Bennettsville Primary School and the Marlboro County School District Student of the Month Award for the month of August. Thank you. If she gets here, you'll know exactly who she is with the big smile on her face.
When she gets here, I want to take the chance and bring her family up. We'll take the
Thank
pictures
you.
at that time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. The National Beta Club School of Distinction, McCall Elementary Middle School, and Blenheim Middle School of Discovery.
Good evening, Chairman Coachman, Dr. Tillin, members of the board at large. It gives us great pleasure to stand on behalf of McCall Elementary Middle School and present the press release for our being named a National Beta Club School of Distinction again. And at this time, our sponsor, Ms. Scholes, will read the press release.
Good evening. McCall, South Carolina, July 27th, 2023. Marlboro County School District is proud to announce that MEMS is a 22-23 National Beta Club School of Distinction. The school earned this recognition by increasing their club's membership by at least 10% from last year. National Beta School of Distinction is an honor for Beta clubs striving towards academic achievement, exemplary character, demonstrated leadership, and service to others. With an ongoing quest to instill these qualities in more students, the National Beta Club of Distinction Award is designed to award those students who show an increase in membership from the previous school year. This year, only 2,643 Beta clubs across the country received this award. In a congratulatory letter to the school, Bobby Hart, CEO, said, "The National Award speaks highly of your commitment to academic excellence and illustrates your dedication to preparing students for their future. Award recipients will receive a National Beta Club School of Distinction banner to proudly display as a symbol of their accomplishment. Every year we strive to accomplish more than the previous year. It is how we demonstrate excellence." Tree Scholes, MEMS Beta Club sponsor.
With more than 500,000 active members in 9,000 chapters nationally and internationally, National Beta has become the nation's largest independent nonprofit educational youth organization. National Beta recognizes outstanding achievement, promotes character and social responsibility, encourages service involvement to school and community, and fosters leadership skills. National Junior Beta Club includes grades 4 through 8, and National Senior Beta Club includes grades 9 through 12. The National Beta Club program offers over $300,000 annually to its senior Beta members, and you can visit betaclub.org for more information. Again, McCall Elementary Middle School is proud to have been named a National Beta School of Distinction for the 22-23 school year, and we look forward to doing the same thing again this school year.
Awesome job. Okay.
Good evening, Board Chair, Mr. Coachman, and Dr. Tiller, and board members. I'm proud to announce that Blenheim Middle School of Discovery is a 22-23 National Beta School of Distinction and School of Merit. Currently, we have 28 students in the Junior National Beta Club. After induction on October the 6th, our roster will increase to 81 for the 23-24 academic year. These students have excelled academically and have demonstrated what it means to soar at BMSD. We look forward to allowing our students the opportunity to compete on a national level. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Hey, let's talk the girls here.
Miss, she's ready. All right. Celebrate our baby.
She's a happy child, right?
No care in the world.
Wish I can go back.
It's all right.
You think so? It's all right. Okay. Congratulations to all our babies and all our schools that are doing great. We appreciate the hard work that y'all doing and the dedication to our children. Food service time. Food service DHEC inspection. What
Good
you got,
evening.
Mrs. Pell?
Good evening, Board Chairman, Board members, Dr. Taylor. Welcome this evening. So I want to bring forth to you this wonderful food service staff. Y'all please all come up. Y'all might as well stand up right now for this news. I'm just trying to tell you. You got hands down the best food service. It is in a district. That's what I'm talking about. I'm loving it. So I have to let y'all know, last week we got hit with DHEC inspections, and of course, we don't care when people come into our buildings. We don't care blood, sweat, and tears.
Was
We
it a
ready for
surprise?
whatever. We are ready. It doesn't even matter. And when I say sweat, I mean that. We fighting all this behind fans and everything. But you know what? We don't complain about the sunshine like y'all do, because we have to go through it every day. But it's okay, because we're going to feed these kids.
All right.
So I have to let y'all know that these wonderful people, last week, y'all, DHEC came, and when I tell you, we have Marlboro County that got a 100 DHEC inspection. Where you at, Marlboro? We got high school, 100. We got Blenheim with a 100 DHEC inspection. You got Wallace with a 100 DHEC
Shut
inspection.
your mouth, girl.
You got BIS with a 100 DHEC inspection. We got BPS with a 99.
Woo!
You got Clio with a 98.
Woo! Let's get it.
And then you got McCall with a 97.
All right now.
You can't tell me that we ain't doing what we supposed to do in this district.
Everybody ain't gonna fit.
I think the whole board needs to come.
Come on.
We're just get behind y'all, but y'all.
However she need us to be. Turn one this way. Okay. Couple lines there. Come on, sister. Don't get behind while we're talking.
Right, chicken, get in the front.
Thank y'all so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Mel, for your support. Dr. Bain.
Right. Now, we celebrate our children, we celebrate our cooks, cafeteria staff. Now, Dr. Tiller has somebody else we want to celebrate them tonight.
Okay, I'd like to read this. It's to Officer Wyatt. As a member of law enforcement serving as a school resource officer, you have embraced this position as an opportunity, not just a job. You have enhanced this opportunity with a vision to save the children by teaching character education. You have chosen to teach young children citizenship, how to be good, respectable, honorable, trustworthy citizens. You shared with me that you also encourage students that if you see something, say something. You are showing students that the uniform is not a threat. Officer Wyatt, when you lay out your plan describing how the program you initiated began, I was amazed. You revealed the step-by-step process. If you recall, I interrupted to ask if you were ex-military, and you responded yes. I was so impressed with your demeanor and pure concern for our children. You said that when students use profanity, you have a conversation with them as to why that language is inappropriate. I know that $200 is not an enormous amount, but I hope that it can help in some small way. I just love what you are doing as well as your end game. Forever a friend, Margaret Little, retired educator. And Ms. Little wants to present $200 to Officer Wyatt for his character education program.
Ms. Little, he's not here?
No, he retired.
He retired?
No, he resigned, but Officer Miller's he's still running the program.
Okay, Mr. Miller's running the program.
Yeah, they're gonna carry on, so he did.
Mr. Miller, you want to come to the podium a minute? We ain't gonna bother you, got the gun. Mr. Miller, thank you for being here. Thank you for what all of you SO officers do for us. And Ms. Little recognized the program that Officer Wyatt was doing, and we really appreciate it. So that's just a token of her love for what she has seen our SO officers doing to help the program keep moving forward with our kids. We already know you're gonna continue to do so. So you're gonna do the thing. Carry it on.
We'd just like to thank you, Ms. Little, once again for continuing to support our
Ms. Little, we just want to say thank you on behalf of the police department and then also the school district and all the teachers. Also, one thing we're going to try to add to it is something we call, and it's been happened before, called random act of kindness. We're going to try to get that started back. Kids doing certain things, rewarding them, getting these little badges or buttons when they do a random act of kindness. And we need more kindness in our society today, and definitely in our school system. We just want to thank everyone, and this we can do. And we reach them right here. We won't have to worry about too many things when we get them up here. So thank y'all so much.
Thank you, Ms. Little. Okay. All right. At this time, can I get a motion to go to executive session for personal matters, hires, and resignation?
Mr. Chair, I move to go to executive session for personnel matters, hires, and resignations.
I'll second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, let it be known by raising your right hand. It is unanimous. We are now in executive session. in open session.
Mr. Chair, make a motion to go back into open session.
Second?
Have a motion and a second. Go back in open session. Any discussion? Hearing any, all in favor, let me know by raising your right hand. Now back into open session. All right, before we go any further, Mr. Flowers.
Yes, Mr. Chair, Dr. Tiller, I'd just like to take a moment and thank the school staff and the board, all the staff at McCall for all the support and love y'all showed us during the loss of Eric. McCall staff and the school staff, I believe half the church was full of the school district, and we really appreciate everything y'all done. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Mr. Flowers. It was indeed an honor and a privilege for us to be there for you. You've been there for us. And being on the board for the past 2 years, we've become very close, about like family. I didn't even know Eric, but just through conversations on riding in school board meetings, felt like he was my son too, so it was an honor and privilege to be there.
Thank you.
Glad you're doing okay. We're gonna ride a little bit tomorrow, talk a little more
Yeah,
about
we
our
are.
children. Okay. Dr. Tiller?
I'd like to take this moment to recognize and welcome Ms. Battle. She's gonna, if you'd stand up, please. Ms. Battle will be serving as our Chief Academic Officer. She'll be handling curriculum, instruction, and assessment. And for some of you, she's new. For others, she's not. She's worked here with us in Marlboro County before. And I'd also like to introduce our Chief of Administrative Operations, and that's Mr. Barry McFadden. And Mr. McFadden is coming to us from Williamsburg County. Welcome.
All right. Dr. Battle, welcome back to Marlboro County again. The curriculum teams, you've done it once. Dr. Tiller here, we know you can do it again, so we're looking forward to it. We have all the utmost confidence in the world that you guys can turn it around. And Mr. McFadden, welcome to the Dream Team. Thank you. So, welcome aboard. We're glad to have you all aboard. Thank you so much for choosing Marlboro County. All right. I have one other thing before we get started. We're leaving, the board is going to Orlando to get some training on board docks tomorrow. We have some nice t-shirts.
Polos.
Very nice. This is a nice shirt I got. Just 14 years on the board. Make sure we wear it all the same day at the same time so we can take some nice pictures at a board meeting, learning some stuff so we can show in Marlboro County money well spent sending us on the conference. Thank you, Ms. Cribs. Thank you, Dr. Tiller. Thank you, administration, and whoever printed the shirts too. We really appreciate it. Thank you. All right. Now let's get that some business in there. Mr. Drake?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve 2 certified recommendations that were presented to us by Dr. Tiller.
Motion to approve 2 certified recommendations.
I second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Yeah, any, all in favor, let me know by raising your right hand. Elections are approved.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make another motion, please.
Okay.
That we approve 1 certified resignation pending finding someone to substitute for this, a suitable replacement, to find a suitable replacement for them.
Okay.
I second.
Okay, 1 certified resignation pending that we find a replacement for the person before they go. Suitable. Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? There isn't any. All in favor of the motion, raise your right hand. It is unanimous. Okay. We amended the agenda to add 1 item action, $1,000 partnership, $1,000 that was given us through a consultant firm for the Cloud Elementary School. They were starting a food pantry down there by a consulting firm, and they gave it through a nonprofit organization, the Colletonian Hawks, and Care First is going to partner and match that grant and start the kitchen, like a food pantry kitchen. And we had to check about a couple months ago, but we need to get the school that check and turn it over to Care First so that they can match the grant at that time so that we can start feeding, start the program. Right, Ms. Douglas? Ms. Douglas is the principal at Clio. You can tell a little bit more about it if I'm not telling it straight. But I spoke with Mr. Zabisky.
Good evening. That is correct. Our Family and Community Resource Center is now open in Clio, and we have been able to utilize some of the things in there for our community. It is about making sure that we are providing everything for our children, from academics to making sure there's meals on tables.
Okay, thank you.
Do we need a motion on that?
I think we've already accepted the $1,000. We've had the motion approved, accepted the $1,000, just the partnership and getting the check to Cloud so that they can partner with Care First, so that we can, and it's going to be a matching, because I'm still looking for more funding to keep it. Every year this partner's going to continue to do things for the Cloud area, and they're going to match it with the food so that we have a kitchen. The children will be able to pick up food after school and everything, you know, every day that it'll be open for them. Okay?
That's good.
Now I need approval of the minutes from August 7th, regular scheduled meeting, and August the 10th, the special call meeting.
Go ahead.
Mr. Chair, make a motion that we approve together the minutes from August the 7th, 2023, our regular scheduled meeting, and August the 10th, 2023, our special call meeting.
And I will second.
Have a motion to approve the August 7th regular scheduled meeting and August 10th special call meeting. Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Yeah, any? All in favor, let it be known by raising the right hand. Motion is adopted. Okay, we have several readings. I hope that we all looked at these policies. I'm gonna try to bundle as many up as we can, because the first two are second reading. Before I go there, we have certification of delegates for 2023 delegate assembly. Certification of delegates. So we have to have at least 2 delegates from Marlboro County for the delegate assembly meeting. Is that December?
December 2nd, 3rd.
Any volunteers to represent Marlboro County? We need 2 delegates.
I will.
Mr. Toms, he's one. You have a second? I'll take it. Nobody else want it. Dr. McLeod, you want it? I'll be an alternate if you want it.
You two need to be
Anybody
there.
else? I've done plenty of times. I want to give somebody else other opportunity. It's a good thing. Mr. Gaiman?
I got training.
Mr. Flower?
I'll probably go to the convention, but yeah, y'all two go there. We've done it last year.
There's a lot of work with that delegate. They know they running for that.
You just volunteered for it.
All right, we'll take it. We'll take it. Mr. Toms and Mr. Coachman.
What about the alternates?
And we need 1 alternate, just in case something happens. I might get sick. Mr. Tom might get sick.
I'll be there.
Mr. Flowers is the alternate. We got 3. Ms. Bain, you got.
All right.
Okay, yeah, we're on the policy now. Second reading, let's go, reading of policy GCQE and GDQC. It's the second, and we can make that a second and final reading. I think that should be relatively easy. We've already went over first reading, so do I have a motion for second and final reading on retirement of professional staff and retirement of support staff? Policy GDQC and GDQE.
Mr. Chair, go ahead. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve the second and final reading of policy GCQE, retirement of professional staff, and policy GDQC, retirement of support staff.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Yeah, any? All in favor, let it be known, raise your right hand. All right. Is that a final reading? Second and final reading, that's correct. All
That's
right.
correct.
Okay, we have a first reading on policy GA, personal goals. First reading of policy GBA, opening and hiring and employment opportunity. Reading of policy GBAA, sexual discrimination, harassment, and retaliation. Reading of policy GBAARR, sexual harassment, discrimination, and retaliation. Policy GBAAE, sexual discrimination, harassment, and retaliation. And first reading of policy GBAC, discrimination, harassment, and retaliation. We'll go some more first reading. I think we all said policy GBACR, discrimination, harassment, and retaliation. First reading of policy GBACE, discrimination, harassment, and retaliation. Policy GBB, staff involvement in decision-making. Policy GBBR, staff involvement in decision-making. Policy GBC, staff compensation. Policy GBE, staff rights and responsibilities. Policy GBEA, staff code of ethics. GBEB, staff conduct. Policy staff conduct of students, GBEBB. Policy GBEBBR, staff conduct with students. Policy GBEBC, gifts to solicitations by staff. Policy GBEBDA, criminal records check. Policy GBEC, drug and alcohol workplace in schools. Policy GBECE, drug and alcohol free workplace schools. Policy GBED, tobacco free workplace. Policy GBEE, internet and electronic communication. I want to talk about, I don't want to use that, I want to leave that one separate for a minute. Policy GBEEA, social media. First reading of policy GBEF, cellular phone and personal electronic devices. And I want to leave that one off. So with the exception of policy GBEE, internet and electronic communication, and the exception of policy GBEF, cellular phones and personal devices, I'm asking for approval on all the other ones except for those two, and leave those two open for discussion. Do I have a motion on that?
Mr. Chair, I have a question, and it might not be in these policies.
Yes, sir.
I know the COVID's kind of coming back around a little. What is our policy on paying the staff with being out with COVID? You know, back in 2020, I think we...
Ms. Bain, can you answer that?
That was back in 20, and then I think you probably did like other districts in 2021. Some districts used some ESSER money that they did not have already encumbered, but at this point, there is no more state money for that. So if people are out on COVID, then they do have to take sick leave.
Use their personal
Sick
Yes, sir.
leave.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
They can use
It
sick
would be
leave.
their personal sick leave.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chair, why don't we just discuss those two before we approve any of them?
Okay, that's a good deal. All right. All right, discussion on GBEE, internet and electronic communication. Ms. Bain, you want to go over that policy with us on
Yes,
that?
sir. Yes, sir. GBEE, this policy does establish the structure of employee-specific portions with the district's acceptable use policy. It is read in conjunction with the district-wide acceptable use policies. So we're looking at GB, and just for the board to know, these are their first reading of these newer versions. You already have a version of your G policies, so technically those policies were never renewed since 2006. Okay. I just wanted to be sure that the board knew that why are we doing these G policies? They're old. And so the ones that you're seeing now are the items with the newest legal language and the recommendation from the School Boards Association. Okay. So, and anytime you have a GB, that policy, all G is for personnel, for staff, support and certified staff. And so anything with a GB is for everybody. If it's a GC, it's certified. If it's a GD, it's the classified or support staff. And so I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew what these policies were. And so you'll probably only have to, we'll have to do 2 readings, but the entire section G has to be redone. Okay. Unfortunately, you'll see probably this many each time.
And this is recommendation coming from the South Carolina School Board Association?
Yes, sir. Okay. You've got to get these up to date. Okay. All right, GBEE, I'm getting there. And this is internet and electronic communication. As you all know, that the computers that we use are district and state property. So any communication by any employee is not private. So this guides the fact that emails and electronic communication is not a private thing. It's actually your property. So this is what this goes over. And so there are some unauthorized uses, of course, unauthorized use of the internet sites. Usually we have, and Chris might be able to weigh in on this, but we have some firewalls. But if somebody gets through that and they're misusing district computers or district equipment, electronic equipment, there are issues, personnel issues that can arise with misuse. So there might be some disciplinary action willing. So basically it says no staff member will access, create, transmit, display, or forward any material that does the following: that promotes violence or advocates for destruction of property. And you can see those bullet points: contains pornographic, obscene, or other sexually oriented materials, harasses, threatens, demeans, or promotes violence or hatred against another person or a group, which includes the district, uses inappropriate or profane language likely to be offensive to others in the school community, or violates third-party copyright or license agreements. So I'll be happy to discuss any specific points that the board members may have.
All right. Okay, that explains that one. All right, the other one I want to talk about is, hold on a minute, is the policy with,
Was it GBEF about cell phones?
yeah, with cell phones, was this incorporated with policy JCI? Is that replacement or just as an addition to that, JCI?
J is for students.
Okay,
The J
that's for
section, this is for staff. Okay. All staff are covered by this one. And so, you know, the board expects teachers and staff members to be models for our students. And so whatever we're dealing with students, we have to be careful about cell phone use in our classrooms.
Okay, well, yeah, I'm okay with it. You're right. So we'll just add that to the agenda for next month with the students.
Now, let's see. I don't know when we're doing the J policies, but
yeah, I mean, yeah, I understand we don't know when we're going to do them, but I still think that our J policy is way out of date and needs some revamping in light of some of the things that we've had happen in the district here. Okay. I think we need to address that, and we can address that next board meeting. So I'm good with all that. Y'all good with everything on this? The South Carolina School Board has endorsed it. Basically, it's an upgrade from our policy to approve all these policies. I didn't need a motion, brother.
All right. And these are the first 17 of about, hold on and I'll tell you how many there are. Don't throw apples or tomatoes or anything. But there are 61 G policies.
Okay.
Sorry. You'll see me frequently with these. I'm trying not to hurt you with all of them, but I'll bring 20 more back next time, and then I think we can finish them in December if you're willing to do that. I know it's a lot.
We'll work through it.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Are we including the temporary policy for paid parental leave in this? Okay.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and do them all right now.
Do them all right now. How's the best way to word this? Do we need to do all the GAs and GBAs?
First and second readings of all the G policies.
The GBs, and then I would do that GC one separately.
Mr. Thomas, you can do this one.
Oh, Mr. Toms.
Well, I think I'm going to read them all out.
All the GB policies, the GCs?
Yes. Well, as a matter of fact, we have a GBA in there also. Mr. Chair, make a motion that we approve the first reading on the GA, the GBs, the GBAA, the GBAC, the GBACR-E, GBB, GBBR, GBC, GBE, GBA, GBB, GEBB, GEBB-R, GBEBC, GBEBDA, GBC, GBEC-E, GBED, GBEE, GBEEA, GBEF.
Y'all heard the man. Got a motion, all them GB. Yeah, second.
I'll second it.
Yeah, motion and second. Is there any discussion at all? There any, all in favor, let me know by raising your right hand. All the G Bs have been accepted.
Thank you.
I left off one.
You got one, yeah.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we pass the temporary policy GCCAC/GDCC, paid parental leave.
Paid parental, you can't forget that one. Have a motion.
Second on that one.
Motion and a second. Policy GCCAC/GDCC, paid parental leave. Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? There are any? All in favor, let me know by raising your right hand. It has been adopted. That's the first reading. That's going to the second reading. All right. Next item, I did have the cell phone policy. One that Scott discussed, and it would be the students' part. And I can make a few comments on it, and we can just talk about until next month. We can put it on the agenda if we feel like we need to change that policy. And I think our cell phone use with children needs to be updated, and the lack of some of the incidents that we happen, a lot of fights that being put on social media, like for example, it could cause someone to lose their job or career by a 3-second video when there's a 60-second, 2-minute fight. And we all know what happened here at Marlboro County. The whole state knows. And the assistant principal could have lost his job over a 3-second clip. And it's unfortunate, but it's also fortunate that our superintendent stepped up and showed us the video and had the prompt mind to say that we need to put the real footage out there. It's the district job to view the video and to make recommendations. And it was unfortunate somebody jumped the gun and put the phone in their hands for 3 seconds and jeopardized not only a person's career, but this entire school district in a negative way. I commend the superintendent for allowing this board to see the video so the truth could get out there, and it made a world of difference. You know, it almost shattered a community right beyond racial lines when there's no racial intention there. We just had staff and administration doing their job, protecting children, and stopped basically a riot up in this building. They were on the spot. So I just like to commend the administration for doing their job and being on the spot, and commend this board for the support, making a crucial decision to show the transparency, clear things up. So I'd like for us to look at this policy, and for each board member to look at that policy and see if there are any changes that we would like to make to it to strengthen our ability to help the administration in case of another incident like this, and protect not only the children, but the administration as a whole. That's all I got on that. Any other comments on that?
Well, I think that was very well said, that Chairman Coachman, because as in all cases, whenever anything happens, it do cause us to go back and look at our policies, and not only just for that one particular incident, but any other incident that may happen within our district. As a board, that's what we need to do, make sure we got good policies that superintendent can take and work with. We don't need to leave any gray areas in our policies, and we need to make sure we do strengthen them.
Okay. Everybody good? All righty. Next on the list, while we're on safety, we have a safety man here, Mr. Robert Williams, representing the gun detection, safety, and security. How you doing there, Mr. Williams? We didn't make you wait too long, then.
Not at all. Not at all, sir.
Oh, all right.
First of all, let me give you a brief introduction. My name is Robert Williams. I am a combat veteran of the United States Army. I retired in 2018. I'm providing security in Iraq, throughout the country, on different patrols as well. I also serve in security at Burns International Security, providing security around nuclear bases and nuclear sites here in South Carolina. Real briefly, but I'm here to kind of talk to you a little more about school security and safety, and I'm going to be kind of brief in my remarks, and my partner, my teammate, going to come and share some information. First of all, good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, Superintendent, and to all of you board members here at Marlboro County School here. I want to first thank each of you for allowing me to come and to share with you about some great technology that can help save lives here in your county. There have been 29 school shootings since January the 1st, 2023. And I would not name all of them, but I will name a few to give you an idea about the seriousness of gun violence in our school across this nation and here in the state of South Carolina. I would start out by naming some of the most recent gun violence on school campus around the state and around the country. First, on September the 9th, which was Saturday, a security guard was shot and injured at Thomas Proctor High School in New York. On September the 1st, a shooting near the stands during a high school football game killed a 16-year-old male and injured a 28-year-old fan. That happened in Port Allen High School in LA. On August the 28th, Georgetown police in South Carolina, 19-year-old was arrested in connection with the shooting at the Georgetown High School football game. The game was canceled, and the game was between Georgetown and Andrews. On August the 25th, a woman was injured by a stray bullet at a high school football game. And that's at Maya-Angelou High School in LA. Also on that same day, a 16-year-old student killed and 2 injured from a gunfire at a football game, stadium during a football. 1 killed and 5 was injured. On August the 18th, students shot and injured in a stadium parking lot during a football game that happened in Clayton County Public School. That's in Jonesboro, Jonesboro, Georgia. On August the 16th, a student was shot and injured inside the school during an altercation with another student, and that happened at T.W. Josie High School in Augusta, Georgia. We're in the business of saving lives, and that's basically what we come to talk to you about today. And the list goes on and on and on. I just want to kind of share with you real briefly about the technology that we have, which is AI. I'm not sure if you heard of AI, artificial intelligence, but what we do, we basically deal with equipment with a computer vision software that integrates with your existing cameras that detect weapons. It also detects crowds of people. It also can detect vehicles that shouldn't be in certain places. As a matter of fact, it also can detect heat, that if a fire is breaking out or one of your electrical boxes is heating up, which causes a fire, it also can detect that. And there are some other things that we can detect. But I'm just here to let you know that with our technology, we can detect firearms with a 99% accuracy, accuracy and close 100% within 15 seconds. We only see what the camera sees. If the gun is brandished from the person, we also can pick it up and send that message to law enforcement or to the appropriate authorities. The average mass shooting lasts about 12.5 minutes. It takes law enforcement approximately around 18 minutes to neutralize the threat. We provide real-time intelligence to first responders and where shooters are and what arms they're carrying and what they look like and how many shooters there are. So in other words, we can provide law enforcement from the muscle right straight off information that is pertinent to the situation. We don't store any of the footage except for the frames where the detection was made. Those frames are retained strictly by law enforcement, and they use them to review as they study and train on various equipment. But I just wanted to come and just share briefly with you that information, and I'm going to come and let my teammate kind of share some things with you and some of the schools that we're currently dealing with as we speak. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Luke Hall. I'm with Advanced Tactical Group. Got 24 years law enforcement, prior military contractor as well. And that military contract world, that's kind of where we got involved in a lot of these security assessments and basic situational awareness training. This is something that we offer to many different, primarily law enforcement and military. We saw a need over the last several years to start entering the schools, churches, and business like that. I've done hundreds of different churches and schools over the last couple of years, and this is kind of what our primary goal is to really do an assessment of your entire facility. Obviously, we want the AI software. We think that is a new thing. We think that is crucial as far as adding to your camera system, because you have your SRO, but he can only be one place one time. And then once we start adding duties to our SROs, that takes them away from actually looking for actual situations they need to be aware of. So basically what we do is we come in, we do an assessment of your campus or whatever campuses you want us to do assessment of, and give you recommendations. You can take those recommendations, you can ignore those recommendations, but we do give you these recommendations. And like I said, we've done several schools already around. We're starting to do a lot more private schools and a lot of charter schools as well. But the thing is, you need to know what you need. And if you're not in this industry, it's kind of like, okay, well, we could put a camera here, we could put a camera there, but we look at everything. And we can go from as far as a CEPTED study, which is crime prevention through environmental design. So if you open up a new building, your insurance companies can probably require you to have that done. Or mainly what we do is a mid-level range study, looking at entry points, insider threat situations, situational awareness and body language training for staff, so they can kind of understand what they're looking for as far as when somebody does something that is out of the ordinary, or an anomaly is what we call it. So we look for the baseline, then we look for these anomalies. And then we make recommendations. Okay, you need to add security, you need to add some security guards to augment your SROs. Your SROs need to go through specialized training, because being in law enforcement, I understand, but a lot of agencies come across this, a lot of school districts come across this. Well, we can just call the local law enforcement. Police work and security work are not the same thing. And so we have to do specialized training for our law enforcement partners to make sure they understand exactly what they're looking for as far as security concerns. The biggest thing we offer, like I said, the assessments, looking at everything on your campus. That usually takes several days on campus, going through everything, talking to people, finding out what y'all's needs are, finding out what the staff's needs are, because they're here every day. And so they know what their biggest concerns are. Looking at monitoring social media accounts from folks. I know one of my biggest jobs that I do now, my current job, is I respond to social media threats to schools. And you get these kids and they'll post something on their own little page, and the next thing you know, we're having a conversation with these kids and these parents about what's happening. So we can help y'all with that. We can look at everything. Like I said, it's recommendations on what to do. One thing we do also is offer SRO training and staff training. If you have security personnel or somebody that's in charge of security, they need to be up to date on what all this training goes into, what we do with this. Right now we're doing, like I said, we've done several schools already, and they are implementing the AI software. I think that is a big plus, being it's a new technology, and I think it's going to help out a lot, because you're going to have eyes there where your SRO is not. And so if somebody walks up with a gun, you can be able to identify it. But we like to do the pre-event indicators. That's the training for the staff, that's the training for the SROs, and then coming back in here and looking at everything in your building. Hey, what do you need in this building? And that is an actual security assessment. It's like I said, we have CEPTED, which is up here, and that would go from HR all the way down to pretty much everything. Most schools probably do not need that. But we do a mid-level range as well, which is the actual security assessment part. Now, if you do need a CEPTED study, we do tell folks, hey, you need to find people that are actually CEPTED instructors and people that are actually certified in CEPTED. There's not a lot of us out there. And that is a nationwide standard for doing most buildings. As a matter of fact, I did Citadel Mall. That was a CEPTED study when they sold several years ago. That was a big project. So we can do a little bit of everything. We have a capability statement. I can leave it with y'all, and you can kind of go in there and a la carte, pick out what you want. But I think the first thing would probably be the actual assessment, just looking at whatever campus you need us to look at and say, hey, this is what you got. This is what we recommend. This is what you can ignore, at least until later on in the school year or later on down the road. But there's some things that every school could use a little bit of extra help. And if you don't have any questions for us, please let us know.
And before you ask your question, I just want to let you know that safety is everybody's concern. Everybody's responsible for safety, because one of the things we notice is that in certain structure, only certain people are allowed to raise the alarm. But no, anybody see a threatened gesture or threatened a piece, anybody can raise the alarm. So we cannot relegate that responsibility just to one or two people. It's very crucial that everybody is responsible for safety, everybody, because if that is not the case, you're already in violation. You're already up against the wall because you only have certain people to sound the alarm.
And I'll give you a quick run. We had a school, and this was a couple years ago. It's one of the big ones in the news. I won't mention it, but it's one of the big ones in the news. Kid walked on campus with a gun case. Coach saw him with a gun case, said, hey, isn't that the kid we threw out a couple years ago? Yeah, because the kid was gone. He's already out of school. So it's not always a student that's in the school. And they said, yeah. So he called the other coach. They both said, well, we don't know what's going on. Let's meet him at the school. Let's meet him in the building. But the kid walked in the building, walked into the breezeway of the building because the door was propped open. Got to the staircase. He saw two kids. Told him, said, you might as well leave because I'm going to kill everybody in this school. And those kids got away, met the coach in the hallway, shot the coach, shot the other coach. Both of them died. What happened in the school? What did they do? They pulled their fire alarm. So the first floor of that school knew what was going on because they heard the shots. And if you've ever been around shots in a building, it's kind of hard to tell where they come from. And the first floor evacuated. They left, which is what we want. If you're not there, you can't get killed. Second floor barricaded and locked down in place. You could see him on video. We do these briefings all over the country. You can see the actual camera video feed of him walking through the school. Second floor, cannot get in these rooms because they're locked. So he shoots a couple rounds through the hallway, but doesn't get in the room because they're barricaded down. Third floor, what do you think they were doing up there? Fire alarm went off. They thought it was a fire drill. So here's the whole third floor wide open with kids and students. Students and teachers and everybody else. Teachers are stress went through the roof. Ever try to put a key in a door when you're stressed out? Because their policy is lock the door when you leave. So they tried to get in, could not get in. And so he just went and started shooting kids there. So we think, if with a little bit of training, a little bit of assessment, some camera systems in the right place, then we can probably prevent some of this stuff from happening.
You have some type of demonstration that you got maybe can bring back to us?
Oh, yeah, we can. Yeah. I can leave our capability statement here, and y'all can go through that and see it, and you can contact us. Our contact information's on there, and you can ask us any questions you have, and then you can kind of, okay, I'm interested in this, I'm interested in that, or go that one. And we can also bring a presentation.
Yeah, and what we can do, we can have a live training and kind of show you, if you have a video, we can show you through video what it's all, how it works and how it takes place.
Yeah, I'd like to see video.
Okay.
Presentation part so that
Sure.
you can see exactly what it's doing and how it picks up.
Okay.
With the 99%. If anybody else is interested in it.
Well, I had a question. One was the cost factor that associated with this, and also when you talked about this training that RSOs need, most of the time with school district, the RSOs come from either your local law enforcement agency. Do you all have anything set up where you engage in some type of partnership and training the resource officer, because the schools themselves don't really choose the resource officer.
Right.
You know, resource officer will either come from the city of Bennettsville, either from the county. So do you all have anything that you all either presented, make same presentation with the school board in conjunction with the chief of police and the sheriff department, so that they'll be tied in this? Because I know it's a cost factor, and we're dealing with training people, and I think if we're training people to respond to something at a school, I think it ought to be a shared cost in there, and I just want to know the cost factor in this.
What we try to do is I'm in contact with a lot of law enforcement training officers. And so we give them these courses, we give them our capability statement, and we also train. Understand, most SROs are trained through SLED. And so they go for their SRO training. Any advanced training is usually private training. And most of them, sadly to say, most of the time it's out of that SRO's pockets to go to this type of training. But we do reach out to the training officers, and if we can get certain courses approved through the academy, they will pay for that training. But we also say it's not just the SRO though. We want anybody that has anything to do with any type of security of the building or any type of counseling to also go through certain types of training. But we'll also hit up the agencies as well.
Okay.
And also, to follow up with your question, I've spoken with the sheriff already, and he's fully aware. Matter of fact, one of the captains with the sheriff department, we're in communication now and try to set up something with them so that they'll be aware. Because what it does, actually, it cut down on manpower. You put eyes in places where everybody, SRO can't do it all. They can't see everything from our campus. But, and also we do have where we kind of have a central station to monitor the whole campus, the whole district, just by monitoring two campuses.
So basically, the SRO officer can monitor the whole area by monitoring this system.
Yes.
And can turn and sound the alarm.
Yes.
Try to do
That alarm will sound them, and they can, or we can have it where it can go directly to law enforcement, so they'll know it'll react in real time. So law enforcement will get it while the person with the gun walking around at school.
So I had a question. Can you tell me how that works at a football game? You got a huge crowd of people. Can you give me more information on details outside? How would that work?
Well, based on our view is that you got a crowded football game, and the thing about it, it's not always the students that are fighting at the game. It's some parents. Parents is so sometimes when we look at inside, the threat is on the outside. Because some mama done said something to somebody's child and they're upset and so they want to retaliate. They didn't have words, so they bring it to the game to beat it out. And this don't have nothing to do with the football game. This don't have nothing to do with the football player. It has something to do, it's a beef between one parent and another parent. They bring it to knowing that they're gonna have a game on Friday night. They bring that to resolve. So what our technology does is that whenever somebody is walking in a crowd, they can be close proximity, and that's why I tell people about these. A lot of schools are going to have these walk-through metal detectors. Well, everybody don't come through the metal detector. Everybody don't enter the school from that direction. Kids come from different directions just to get in school. But what our technology does, if someone has a weapon on them, and they brandish that weapon, and the camera can see it. The camera can see you and it automatically sees the weapon. If it can see you withdraw the weapon from your pocket or take it out of your bag or whatever, at that point, the alarm goes off in split seconds. And that information is transferred to law enforcement or to the SRO. And we kind of prefer to go to both places, really, so that both of them get to see pretty much simultaneously.
You go ahead. I was just going to ask a question. Would it be safe to say that we would like to see a demonstration of the SI at the next board meeting? If we set up that, Mr. Williams, and you guys could give us a presentation and show us some real-time stuff and see how it looks?
Yes.
The board will be interested in looking at to see it?
I would.
And also.
And the cost.
Yep, right.
And the cost.
Because you was talking about coming in and doing an assessment of a school, typically, on average, what does the cost factor involve, even just coming and doing an assessment? Because I know an AI program, what we have to pay for the system is a monthly monitoring fee.
Actually, the AI is actually the least expensive part of it. The actual assessment is some cost associated with it.
Right.
Your average cost for assessment, I mean, you're looking at, it depends on the campus you're looking at, it depends on the square footage, how much staff's there, how many kids are there, but you're looking at a minimum. I've done one school, but it was a small little private school, and it was $3,500 for initial assessment.
Really?
And that's just a ballpark for initial assessment. Now, you get into these larger campuses, I mean, it obviously goes up. And then you make the recommendations based off of that, like more camera systems, more this, more that. But that is, like I said, that's a small campus. So entry level, yeah, $3,500 at a bare minimum, just to be able to do the actual assessment. But I would say, like this school here, yeah, that's not going to happen here. But because it's a pretty good sized school. But you get different places, and when it's not only schools. I mean, we do assessments on any facility. Like I said, if it's, say it's the ball field itself, the football stadium itself. I mean, there's assessments that can be done on anything. But the assessment's going to rise in cost depending on, and it depends on how new the school is and what it needs. I mean, if it's an older school, then that's a lot more stuff to look at. If it's a newer school, then okay, well, y'all already got this, you got this. It's not going to take as much time to go through it. But then the AI software is priced a little bit differently.
Okay.
Yeah, well, we definitely like to take a look at the system in a presentation and make a decision on an assessment at our next board meeting. Would that be safe to say, board member?
What you mean? Look at
Make
it?
a decision whether we want to move forward with an assessment.
Well, let's see what,
Presentation.
let's see what
After the
superintendent.
presentation.
And also we'll see what the superintendent, what the assessment from the district level will be on that.
Already talked.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm on it.
Okay.
Also, Mr. Chair, I think if it's possible, we should have the sheriff and maybe the chief here from the city, because those two are the ones that supplies us with our SRO officers.
Well, both those departments.
And if they want to bring some of their officers here, some that's worked, ours and McCall Juskoff, I think he's over the RSO for the county. So we can have those guys here, they can have some questions and probably have some answers for you guys on what we have now versus what y'all can add to it.
What do you think, Dr.
And certainly, we'll be happy to bring, to do it all. And also, I would have our technicians that actually, that deals with school lockdown. Locking certain doors, accessing certain doors, and that comes automatically through our emergency notification piece. So once we, because with this technology, you can lock doors, you can open doors, you can override any media, any IT on the phone, you can override any of that stuff as long as it's an emergency. So I have our team online provide all that information to you all.
Dr. you want to add anything to this?
No, just looking forward to hearing you.
Okay. All right, well.
Thank you.
All been said, thank you for the presentation, and we'll look forward to seeing you next month.
If you guys would let me know exactly when, what time.
What's our next scheduled board meeting?
We'll go from there.
Next scheduled board meeting is October
10th.
first Monday.
Look,
October 2nd, 5 p.m. Yeah. October 2nd.
At the same location.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll be here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much.
All right. Mr. Rodriguez, you on bus drivers?
yes, please.
Rodriguez, and teacher assistant bus drivers, Mr. Danny Rodriguez.
Superintendent Tiller, basically looking for information. We brought this up a while back at a different meeting while we were at one of our board meetings that we had, training sessions. One of the other counties said something about the fact that student bus drivers were being looked at again by the state. And they were speaking of a grant and this type of stuff that you might could get. Now, that was brought up at a meeting, but it was never followed up on that I'm aware of. What I would like for us to do is maybe follow up on that to see if there's actually is something along that line, and if it is, what are the qualifications, whether we have anything like that we could offer our students. You can see this gray hair on my head. That's how we used to do it when I went to school. The students drove the bus. True, it was a whole different time frame then. I mean, it was a governed bus at 35, 40 miles an hour, but it was something that happened. And I just want to know if it's something that we might can do, because I think at the last meeting we talked about it. I think there's still a bus shortage on drivers, bus driver shortage, that we still have that. So any way we can assess that, we need to try to do that, I think. You get to say?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. But that's all. That's what I want on that.
Yeah.
All right. And on the second thing was the teacher assistants who are bus drivers. Do we still offer that? At one time, we offered teachers assistants that were in the classroom. They could come out and they could still drive a school bus and to go home with it, and they drove it there in the mornings and this type of stuff. And I mean, I'm ashamed to say, I guess, because I am on the board, but do we still offer that?
Yes, yes, sir. We do offer teacher assistance, and I want to thank Dr. Tiller for having the initiative to think of us and think of the drivers to go on, and she works it out. Anybody that wants to come out and drive a bus, she gives the opportunity to go back and make up your time after the day, to make your time up for driving that bus on your regular job, to come in and fill that spot as a driver. So yes, sir, we do have aides. We have actually 11 dual employees right now that's driving a bus to help us, and they go back and make their time up. We have secretaries, we have custodians, we have aides, we have a mixture of all employees, and it's working great.
That's a big help.
And I guess my question would be, is that working well?
Yeah, yes, it is.
Good.
Yes, sir. It's working well.
Yeah.
And we are able to keep up with their time with our Chronos electronic timekeeping system for all our dual employees. We're able to keep up with the time to be sure that we are in line with the labor board on the overtime and all those things.
So when we had stopped doing it, basically the teacher assistant subs were making like $9, $10 hours. So now they making a full day's pay every day. And the part-time bus drivers are only making a half a day pay. So now they're making a full salary by doing both.
Yeah, and that's correct. Yes, sir. That's correct. And it's open to everybody in the district. We don't single anybody out.
How about board
She
members?
opened it up to everybody. Yes, sir.
Drive one too.
Come on. It's open to everybody. She didn't
They
single
gonna
it
plan,
out.
right?
Correct. And to answer your question on the student drivers, we do put out, when we advertise for bus drivers, we put out to everybody. You have to be at least 18 years of age up. If you're in high school, you want to drive, you're 18, you're more than welcome to come out and drive. That's something that we look forward to, and we do try to pull in a bunch of drivers, but hadn't been lucky. But we do have some that's, they decide that they don't want to go to college. They want to stay here and work. So we got some people that's working a regular job, and they're here trying to get their license right now. They graduated last year, and they're working full-time with us, driving a bus too. So, we're getting them at 19. We haven't had an 18 lately, but we got some 19 and 20s, and it's working out perfect, and we appreciate it.
I mean, that sounds great to me. And like I said, the reason I brought all this up, and I'll be perfectly honest with you, I came back from Sherrall, and I saw a bus out about 7:15. And in my mind, I was sitting there saying, they're coming from Wallace and they came here. If they're still, and I assume they're doing a double route or whatever. I have no idea what they're doing.
We actually started after school in the state. So
in my mind, I was saying, in December and January, it's going to be dark at 7:15. And that's not a good thing to have a school bus on the road when it's dark delivering kids somewhere. And that's why I brought this up, because we need to, I guess what I'm trying to say is, if we can, cut out the double routes, that kind of stuff, because it lengthens everything out where we can have some problems later.
We're a whole lot better than we've been in the past, and I want to thank you all for for that, because that's more than a big part for what you guys have done to raise our salaries. Thank you for that, and it's working out well.
It sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you.
I know back in the day, we would drive them at 15 back then. You couldn't fool me on the bus now with a 15-year-old.
You drove it at 30 miles an hour, too.
Yeah, and a stick.
You know something, I did want to say something before Mr. McLeod, before Mr. McNeil left.
Yes, sir.
You know, you can stay where you're at. I just want to let you know that it feels pretty good in here tonight.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Superintendent's report and financial report. Ms. Melanie Jeanette. How you doing tonight, Ms. Jeanette?
I'm doing good. I like to save the best for last. So, if you'll recall, you've had kind of a mismatch of some financial reports, and Mr. Drigger said, I want to see some expenditures. So, by golly, you got some expenditures. So what I'm presenting to you for the financial report, firstly, is a statement of revenues of where we are from July 1st through the end of August, and I think it's 5 pages report of expenditures. Now, if I ran it wide open, it would be 27 pages, and I didn't think you wanted that. So I did run it with a little bit of a summary format. But this will show you what the expenditures are based on the budget that you passed back in June. And if you are agreeable, this is the way we will provide the expenditure report to you moving forward. You like this format?
I do.
Any questions?
All right, well, I've already looked at it. Anybody got any questions?
I don't have any. If I have any, I'll call you up.
Okay.
I just want to tell you, you're doing a mighty fine job.
And I
Really
am
appreciate it.
very proud.
Find anything any more green?
Finding what?
Any more green?
Sure. Any more green?
Found
No,
some
I
more?
did. I'm a green.
You found some more? Oh, okay.
Not
okay.
yet.
Yeah, I'll
We'll
just
find
check.
some.
I'll just
Okay.
check. Yeah.
So I am going to, as part of my financial report, provide you with an ESSER update.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
So if you'll recall, when I did, gave you a kind of a brief overview last month, and it took longer to get into the nitty-gritty because of there's just so much. There's so many different pieces to it. So it took me a little bit longer. I realized as I was working at the end of last week and over the weekend to finalize it, I didn't have the final amendment for ESSER 2, so I had to get it from the State Department. I finished balancing, and that's why the report is on your place. I finished it at 11:30 this morning. It's there, but I want to briefly go over ESSER 1. I don't have anything for you because that grant actually ended last September. But if you'll recall, I told you there was $22,000 that was not spent in that grant that will have to be returned to the Department of Education. But I just wanted to give you a brief overview of some of the things that we purchased with ESSER 1 dollars, although it's behind us.
Yeah.
There were, of course, that was the very first large pot. It was $1.7 million. And that was the start of this is going to be a rough instructional year because of the learning loss that our students went through. So there were some literacy interventions that were purchased for different tier levels depending on how the student was struggling in reading. 5 extra days of instruction was provided for the students at Marlboro High School. There was mental health care because, as everybody has understood during COVID and being out, there were some mental health issues, so we did some contracted services. A learning management system, because as you know, and I know Chris knows, there was a lot of technology that came about after COVID. So we purchased systems that would help consolidate all of the different systems that the students and staff would be working on. A lot of sanitation and cleaning, as you can imagine. just to make sure that our classrooms, and if there was an outbreak, our classrooms were clean. So that was that. So that was what that 1.7 in ESSER 1 was spent on. Now, that 2-page, and I apologize for it being T90, but that was the only way I could get you to see it all. Technically, it's about this long, but I consolidated it. I did the initial plan, and then I did the final amendment. This grant has to be spent by September 30th, which is just a few days away. There's currently, as you see...
September 30th?
Yes, sir. $126,000 remaining, roughly. But as I told you at the last meeting, we will not send this back to the Department of Education.
Good.
Will not. So this 2 pages takes the initial plan that was submitted to the department. Like I said, there are many iterations of amendments, but those last columns are the last funding. So you can just see, I'll just give you some examples. Somebody mentioned about sick leave. We did not re-implement that in this year, but part of this plan in ESSER 2 was to pay for sick leave for staff when they were out with COVID. That has not been re-implemented in many districts that I know of. A lot more technology. We were able to hire technology coaches for our schools because there was so much more technology to help Mr. Davis with all of those needs. A lot of hardware, software, connectivity, MiFi, all of those things that our students and staff needed to be successful when they were at home learning. So all of that. Many assessments, some testing supplies, a lot of school facility repairs, got rid of cloth chairs. Anything that would hold a germ, we tried to get rid of it and help with that. Some HVAC replacement repair. Didn't it feel good in here? Thank you, sir. Feels very good in here. Some merit-based compensation from those staff that worked over and above during COVID and when everybody was out. But as you can see, that grant was $8.8 million. We've spent all but $126,000, and my plan is, with talking with folks, is to give the balance to the special ed folks.
All of it?
All of it, that $126,000, because we still got ESSER 3. And the reason that is my proposal is because the money they receive from the federal government has not increased in several years. So the revenue is stagnant, but the salaries, based on increases by the state and increase in retirement and things like that, are going up. So Ms. Price doesn't have a whole lot of extra money to spend and provide much needed supplies and things for her special ed classrooms. So there's also some learning devices, some smaller furniture for the special needs students that could be used for that money. And then ESSER 3, we would have much, and I will share ESSER 3 with you at the next meeting in October.
That was $6 million, that right?
Excuse me?
That's $6 million.
About. Mm-hmm.
About $6 million.
I think so. Then we have to make a plan to spend that money. We have some recommendations, and we've had discussion around the district of some things that they would like to see that money go for. And we'll need to get together as a group and make those recommendations.
Okay. All right. We were going through it. I don't know how we'll figure out. I know we was talking about got definitely need for scoreboard at the high school, baseball and the softball field. So whatever category we find a little bit, out of $6,126,000, if we can find a few thousand, get that done. It look like pick about 2 or 3 different categories we can take it out of, make that happen. The clock's about 40 years old.
Well, we've got, like I said, we've got a good bit of money left in ESSER 3. That's my next project. I'll get on that starting later this week, since this one is finished. I had to finish this one first, because at least with ESSER 3, we've got until next September, okay? And we need to go through, do an assessment, see where we are. We know there's some needs. We also have some other capital money that I'm working with Herbert Owen and Mr. McFadden that we got from the state.
Got Mr. McFadden.
Yeah, we got some of that as well, so we're working on that, and we're going to get it spent.
All right.
Okay.
It sounds like you're doing it, but what Mr. Coachman is trying to say, creative thinking.
Trying,
Right.
trying.
Right.
But what I am telling you, like I told you last time, we're not sending any money back.
There you
I don't
go.
like to send money back to the Department of Education.
Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
You know you're good when anybody asks you no questions, right?
I've been doing this a long time.
All right. Mr. McFadden, you got anything you want to add to that? Anything that we talked about? All right.
Good
All right,
answer.
Ms. Battle, you all right?
Good answer.
All right. Dr. Tiller, on you now.
I'm good.
Dr. Tiller, good. Board, are y'all good?
Guess it's my turn.
Mr. Drager.
Mr. Coachman,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chair, I would like to make a motion that we adjourn this meeting.
Have a motion to adjourn. Can I get a second?
You got a second?
I got any discussion on that? All in favor, raise your right hand. BOE meeting is adjourned. Adjourned. Good meeting.